understand the influence of macroeconomics in our country, we must first know the coarse concept of what this factor is. Macroeconomics is defined as the study of the global system of economy, in order to explain the evolution of economic aggregates, for example, long-term economic growth, productivity, economic cycles, unemployment, inflation, among others. Another concept that we should know is the macroeconomic policy, which refers to the centralization in monetary, fiscal, commercial and foreign exchange, as well as economic growth, inflation and national rates of employment and unemployment, that affects a country or a region. There are types of policies. Monetary, measures that seek to achieve stability and the value of money, centered on the management of money and its financial conditions. Exchange, controls the behavior of currency exchange rate, is responsible for balancing the nominal change with the real change. Fiscal, focused on the public sector within the areas of spending, taxes and indebtedness, to facilitate the national economy. Labor, government intervention within the labor market, to create jobs and protect the unemployed. In our country there are institutions which are responsible for ensuring the macroeconomics and development of our country, for example, Secretary of Economy, National Bank, Secretary of Finance and Public Credit.
As in our country there are institutions that regulate the national economy, there are global organizations that pretend the same work for countries, like the World Bank, which serves as an institution that provides economic loans to countries that need. In Mexico, for example, a couple of years ago, this organization gave our country a loan of $360 million for situations of natural disasters. This directly influences the adoption or maintenance of economic policies, in accordance with the support these institutions provide, situation that is responsible for managing the executive and legislative powers of the country. Throughout the history of our country, different macroeconomic policies have been adopted, depending on the problems of what the country was doing during those times. During the first 3 decades of the 20th century, the Mexican economy suffered from strong inflationary processes, due to fiscal imbalances. Which is why fiscal policy was adopted during these years, to dissociate the factors that encouraged inflation, thus regulating the rates of interest. During this same century, years later, fiscal policy did not work much, which is why this strategy was modified by converting it into a monetary policy, to better deal with inflation by regulating liquidity and making banks stronger. The result was effective that controlled the inflationary pressures and at the same time allowed the financing of fiscal deficits and credits for the industrial and agricultural sector. Nowadays the macroeconomic policy is fiscal, since there have been cuts to investment and public spending, the reduction of the public debt within the GDP, due to the uncertainty generated by the NAFTA and the decrease in the production of petroleum. Reviewing the history and current context of our country, and if we analyze it with the situations that we live day after day, our country continues with inflationary problems and there will surely be a concern to need and demand a change. Consequently, impotence will arise because to be able to do nothing, however, with a simple change of attitude towards the situation of the country and taking actions in favor of a better nation, an improvement in the macroeconomic environment will be achieved.